does the travel sit well with you when you're gallivanting throughout the world? Are you quite happy being on a plane and hotels and different, spaces, meeting different people? Does that sit well with you?
It's interesting. Now, having not done very much of it for the past 6 months during lockdown, you kind of forget what it feels like. And then as I'm starting to perform gradually more, it is, I love seeing the world and being able to travel, but there are some parts of it I don't like, and that's all of the carrying. I get such a bad back from carrying everything. I'm just like a pack horse when I go traveling. But I think, no, being able to experience different cultures and see different reactions, and how people kind of respond to music in different areas of the world is fascinating. How different audiences react in Japan compared to America, compared to England, is just, I think it's fascinating, and I feel so lucky to be able to travel doing the thing that I love. And sometimes, yeah, it's definitely exhausting, but I think it's worth it when you're able to step on stage and play to people.
Well, the experience that you build up is absolutely priceless, I would say. And interesting that you mentioned Japan, and because of course wind bands are very big there, and I'm sure they must have a massive appreciation towards what you do as a sax player.
I really love Japan. I've been there only once. I played there last year, and my saxophones are Japanese, so I already felt a connection to Japan. They're handmade in Japan, and yeah, they have such a, it's an interesting way. The saxophone is so much bigger there in a way, because they are incorporated into these wind bands, and it's such a huge part of the education and the culture. And I'd love to play more in Japan and to learn more about that culture and that kind of the ethos and way of life they have. I think is just completely fascinating.
Yeah. Are there many concertos written for sax and wind bands?
There are a few. There are some, and there are some adaptations of concertos that already exist for wind band as well. So it's actually something I'm working on at the moment.
Yeah, fantastic. There's quite a lot for percussion and wind bands, and sometimes those that have been written for symphony orchestra have then been arranged for wind band. So they get played a lot in the States and in the Far East and so on, because the standard of wind band playing is so high. So it is interesting. But as a young musician, what has been some of the more unexpected things you may not have been prepared for, when you left the Royal Northern College of Music? Have there been things that you've experienced as a professional musician that simply were not addressed or not talked about, or you just hadn't come across as a student? Do you know what I mean? No,
Yeah, it's interesting.
they obviously can't prepare you for world travel, I get that, but have there been any other things, whether it's to do with the business side of thing, or admin, or presentation, or I don't know, just all sorts of things?
It's funny because as I was studying, I was kind of performing alongside already. I was because I'd been in BBC Musician, that had given me such a huge platform, and then the studying and starting the performing career kind of coincided in a way. And then I left the Royal Northern because I moved to the Guildhall to study with John, and because everything was happening in London, I just needed to move because I was travelling so much. So I think, in a way, I think for me at music college, everything is so focused on music, which of course that's what you want, and you go to music college to be completely immersed in music and to think only about music. But I felt like I missed out on the experience of the world. I think we don't relate the music to the world and to society somehow, and its role in the world, and how important it is to our race and to our humanity. In a way, I would have loved to have done philosophy and a sort of general knowledge to feel relevant as a musician, rather than to be in a bubble that's separate from the rest of society. And I think also to be encouraged to pass on the skills that you're learning, and to be taught how to, well, not necessarily taught, but to be encouraged to engage with younger audiences and younger people. So how to lead a workshop, for example, how to go into a school and engage a young group of children and show them what music has to offer is something I would really love to have experienced more at conservatoire. And I think it'd be fantastic if we could see even more. There are already some amazing schemes, but even more of this idea of it being a cycle that goes round. So no matter where you are on the cycle, whether you're the most incredible performer in the world or you've been playing for 1 week, that somehow you have a connection so that we're all related as a kind of musical community, and we're happy to share what we've learned and pass things around on the kind of like wheel of learning, I suppose. I think I would have liked to have had more of that so that I felt more prepared to work with children.